I was born in Dallas, Texas. I moved to Austin when I was 7 years old, and that was right at a time where my parents were getting divorced. And so, we lived in a lot of different places from age 7 to 14. Lived in Central Austin, North Austin, closer to South Austin. But at the end of the day, my mom had done a ton of research on all the high schools in Austin and felt like Westlake High School had the best all-around academics and athletics. And she wanted that opportunity for me and my brother. And so she moved into the Westlake High School district so that we would be able to go to high school there.
That first year, Drew played on our freshman B team. Then the next year, he was going to play on our JV B team, and the starting quarterback in that class got hurt. And I have this story about one of the assistant coaches. When the starting quarterback got hurt, he said, "What are we going to do? This is going to be the weakest JV we've had in years." And I said, "Well, who's the next guy up?" And he said, "Well, Drew Brees is on the B team." And I said, "Well, bring up Drew Brees."
As much as, I wanted to be that guy, Drew's a very good friend of mine, and I want him to be successful. And he stepped in, and watching him take the reins, whew, a little scary.
He had an aptitude to play quarterback, and we didn't pick it up until all these circumstances happened where we had to play him at quarterback because Johnny got hurt and where was our next option? He started establishing himself. The leadership, the aptitude, the decision making that does not show up at a football camp. It shows up in the middle of a game.
This young quarterback throwing the football around, and he was wearing number 15, and I asked my father-in-law, I said, "Who's that?" Well, what a beautiful throwing motion, and that always catches my eye. And he goes, "His name's Drew Brees. He was our JV quarterback this year, but we got a lot of high hopes for him, probably be the starter next year." And lo and behold, Drew was the starter for Westlake in '95. Took him all the way, I think, to the 3rd or 4th round, and he had a knee injury during that playoff run, and they kind of got that cut short.
So I tore my ACL my junior year, the 3rd round of the playoffs. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were undefeated. It was probably one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. We were going down to play in the 3rd round of the playoffs, a team called Alice down in South Texas. It was a hostile environment, just one of these kind of gritty games that we're involved in, tough, physical. And up until that point, really, as it pertained to any sport, I had never really suffered any type of a serious injury. Certainly nothing that caused me to miss any games or even miss a single play. And so I remember it was a bootleg play, so I fake a handoff and I go to my right and I get hit and I come down and I feel my knee just, it's kind of like slipped out of place and came back, and I immediately knew that something wasn't right, especially as I began, walked to the sideline and it was very unstable. And so when the doctor did the test and looked at me and said, "You've torn your ACL," I was just completely devastated, just devastated. Not only just kind of the hopes and dreams of that season and, that team feeling like, we had an opportunity to state championship, but I had seen friends and other teammates have ACL injuries just like this, and some had never come back the same. It just, for whatever reason, it's a serious injury. And so for me, I thought, man, my football career is over. Defining moment for me in my athletic career, because up until that point, I hadn't really faced that type of adversity before. The type of adversity where you feel like something's really being taken away from you, and that maybe you won't come back the same, and it scared me, it motivated me, it inspired me, it made me much stronger in my faith. I really became a Christian at that time. And
when I heard that, Drew Brees, Drew Brees, Drew Brees, Drew Brees, Drew Brees.
When I come out to practice and we're getting ready for the state championship game, and I look on the sideline and there are 2 coaches. There's one from Purdue, there's one from Kentucky.
We had Coach Tiller from Purdue sitting on a bench on our sideline, or maybe right before the state championship came, and I think Drew was so focused on the game he didn't want to worry about that.
I look at him and I look at Coach and I said, "Who are they here to see?" And he looks at me and said, "They're here to see you." I said, "Okay, well, Purdue, Ivy League, all right, that's good." I had no idea that Purdue was Big Ten. That says a lot for its academic reputation. Maybe it doesn't say a lot for its football reputation. We were ranked dead last in the Big Ten in recruiting classes, and there was only about 14 or 15 of us. whereas most recruiting classes are 25 or 30. So we already had this edge. You know what, we're coming in and we're underrated, but we're going to show them what we're made of. And by the time we leave here, this class is going to lead this team to a Big Ten championship and a Rose Bowl.
Hello, I'm Nate Barrett, a communications student at Purdue University. I'd like to introduce you to a remarkable person. If you follow college football, you've probably heard this name. He's Drew Brees, who last year, as a 19-year-old true sophomore quarterback, shattered just about every Purdue and Big Ten single-season passing record on the books.
Drew's always been a confident guy, sometimes too much so, because he thinks he can complete every pass and actually throw the ball through the open linebacker. And that isn't true. But certainly he's a guy that is very confident, and that is really a great quality to have, in the sense that, that if he does throw an interception or he does make a mistake out there, he very quickly, he's on to the next play mentally.
We're back Ohio State.
I love that game. We really played the whole 60 minutes, and the whole game was just action-packed.
Third down now for Brees. And they were on him. Intercepted! Intercepted! Brees can stop him. He does. He knocks him out of bounds. Brees was the only defender who could knock Mike Doss out of bounds.
I hate to use this saying, but fixing what he broke, leading by example. Stuff like that shows us the leadership and determination that you need to be successful.
Second down and 10. Block to the left, block to the right. Cedric Brown stays at home alongside Drew Brees. Drew takes the snap from center. Look, has time to throw. Tears it out deep. Way downfield. Grab on your ass. He's going to score. He's going to score. Touchdown Purdue. Seth Morales. Seth Morales.
Hey, what's your mom always tell you? If you break it, you fix it. I broke it, but I think I fixed it.
And I was curious, if he was so good, why he was going to Purdue instead of Texas or Texas A&M, whatever. And I guess he'd had an injury or something like that. And I mean, I know he loved Purdue and he was great there, Rose Bowls and everything, but I always sensed that night, this guy got a little chip on his shoulder. I followed him close at Purdue. And of course, Peyton started playing for the Colts. And I remember several times, Drew hanging outside the Colt dressing room after a game and visit with him. So I followed him. A great career.
Left a permanent mark at Purdue. The numbers speak for themselves. 19 Purdue records, was a two-time Heisman Trophy finalist, and led the Boilermakers to a Big Ten title and Rose Bowl appearance.
But as far as the complexity of what we were doing offensively, the way you were required to read coverage, to make checks at the line of scrimmage, to play very quickly, to make quick decisions, just all of those things I felt like prepared me very well. And I had great coaches and so many things that I can point to from my time with him, my 4 years with him at Purdue, that just helped me develop.
Coach Olson did a great job of taking these quarterbacks and having them compete. If they weren't doing football drills, they were having a one-on-one basketball drill contest. Everything was a contest. That's where Coach Olson and Drew fit very well with each other. They were always competing on something.
He allows everybody else to rise up to his level, or he brings everybody else up to his level. And there's very few players that can do that. I think he's one of them. There's very few quarterbacks that possess that ability.
And so I think that they instilled a lot of those values and work ethic and good habits in me that absolutely carried over to NFL.
Chad wanted to know how your golf game's been going lately.
I'm about a 10 to 12 handicap probably. Jones knows that I take him though if he ever challenged me. That's why he's scared to ask me to go out and play.
Probably.
This is a great experience. It's time to kind of, prepare myself to the next level, and I guess this is one of the first steps, to come here and to meet with these guys, kind of get to know them, talk about our experiences together, and just have fun.
I still had, I think, about 15 hours left, so I was going to school in the mornings, and then I was coming in the afternoon, and I was training, and so I went to the combine. Didn't have a great showing at the combine. I think I was so focused on some of the physical elements, all the things that I felt like they were doubting me. I felt like I had to prove something with my 40 time and some of the other things, and I really didn't throw the ball that well. Norv Turner was the offensive coordinator. Mike Riley, the head coach, had some great visits with them, great meetings. They had come to my pro day and just seemed very, interested. And then they were sitting there at the first pick of the second round. And
with the first selection in the second round, number 32 overall, the San Diego Chargers have selected quarterback from Purdue, Drew Brees.
There's some Charger fans here, some Shea Al jerseys, Tomlinson and Brees.
And I had heard about Drew from my time in high school. I heard about this big-time quarterback at Austin Westlake, and so I knew about him. I'm not sure if he knew about me, but we followed each other through college and went to some of the same banquets that you go to in college. And we actually spoke about being on the same NFL team when we were at one of those banquets our senior year. And ironically, it happened. It was an amazing day for both of us to be drafted by the Chargers.
Standing here with Drew Brees, now of the NFL, all the hard work in college, all the things that you've accomplished, now you're a pro. How does that feel?
Well, it feels great. I've been ready to take the next step for, ever since the Rose Bowl ended, and it's great to, kind of have that set in stone now. Hey, I'm going to be a Charger. I don't have to sit around and worry about where I'm going to be next, so it feels good.
NFL is ready to take the field. Drew Brees is a guy that was very productive in his college years at Purdue. Had a really good game last year in a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, but this is his first career start, and he's going to see the real thing today against the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Yeah, the Bengals last year, as you know, Solomon, they graded out number 9 in the entire league in defense. Right, Solomon, that was called a lot in the preseason games. Here is a throw by Brees, beautifully done. Tim Dwight on the run. First down, quick out. It goes to in fact, he doesn't get all worked up. He's cool under pressure. Now he throws near side. Conway.
are 2-3, but there's still plenty to be optimistic tonight about. And I'm not trying to be Mr. Sunshine here. They are two of the best teams in the NFL, in my opinion, and they played like it tonight. The Steelers just happened to win this one. Powder blues for the Bolts, which historically is not a great thing. Now 2-5 during the regular season when they wear them. A breakout game for Sean Merriman, the sack causes the fumble here. Randall Godfrey recovers it. The Steelers will put up the first 2 touchdowns of the game, but a huge drive for the Bolts right before the break. Brees to Antonio Gates, 14.
You see, up until that point, Drew Brees had turned himself into a Pro Bowl quarterback for the Chargers. A guy who was ready to push a very talented San Diego roster to the next step, postseason success.
It is Brees looking end zone, has McCardell, touchdown!
There was just one problem. His contract was up.
On the blitz, ball knocked loose, standing on the goal line, and recovered, it looked like maybe by Brandon of the Broncos. John Lynch knocked it out. I think Drew Brees got hurt on that play going for that.
Oh, that arm gets hyperextended in a very scary position. Phillip Rivers is warming up on the San Diego sideline.
The Bolts front office, which would have been lit up for letting a player like Brees walk in free agency, now had their excuse. A torn labrum. Damaged goods.
On top of him, drove his arm over his head, and then I saw Drew walking off the field with his arm locked like this and couldn't bring it down. And I said, oh my goodness, he's dislocated his shoulder out the bottom.
3 days after the game, the quarterback caught a flight to Birmingham to visit the renowned surgeon.
The MRI indicated that he was pretty tore up with his labrum and cuff. He looked down at the bottom of his shoulder, his arm went from being in this position, it went up, 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 and over, and way like this, in a super overhead position. And when it did, this arm bone right here went out the bottom down here.
So the arm bone actually punched its way through?
Yeah, went out the bottom. Now, when an athlete, you hear about athletes dislocating their shoulder, they usually come out the front. Okay. You know, that's the common way. This one went out the bottom, which is real unusual.
Despite public reports that Brees had only suffered a torn labrum, Dr. Andrews knew it was much worse, a 360-degree tear, in fact. He and his team of 4 surgeons conducted extensive surgery 5 days later to try to save Brees' career.
It was an extensive procedure, and if you couldn't do it as a team and get it done quickly, your shoulder would be like a watermelon with swelling, and you wouldn't be able to complete the procedure.
Brees moved to Birmingham for more than 4 months to work with Kevin Wilk, the doctor's ace therapist, to undergo a rehabilitation that Andrews believes is equally important to the surgery itself.
The thing that really got him back to a high level of being able to throw a football and be able to be in the Super Bowl is the work that he and Kevin Wilk did in rehabilitation. I mean, they were all like Siamese twins for about 4, 5, or 6 months.
When Brees became a free agent in March 2006, most teams were skeptical he could return to his high level of play. In fact, many NFL team doctors felt he was a poor investment. But Dr. Andrews had faith in Brees.
He's probably 1 in 100 that could come back from that injury.
The magnitude of the situation is untenable. It's just heartbreaking.
The widespread belief was that the Superdome would be demolished and the Saints would move away.
That coach was constantly trying to talk to us so we wouldn't look out the windows of the plane. Because, you know, we're landing right there, you know, where the airport is, and it was a hard-hit area.
I'm driving the car, and it's Drew in the front seat, Brittany in the back seat, and I'm driving like I've been a resident for 10 years, and I've only been here for a couple months.
He's driving us all around.
We went over to the North Shore to look at some housing.
And we go over the causeway, you know, and it's the bumps. Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do.
You know, and so there's that point, I look in the rearview mirror and I see Brittany just kind of nodding off, you know.
Well, I was exhausted. I have to admit, I was exhausted at that time because we were kind of all over the place. And we get lost.
And somewhere off the causeway, I ended up spun around, and I know I was heading towards Baton Rouge, and
he's starting to panic. So I start laughing because we are so lost.
I'd say 2 of the hours were spent lost. 1 hour was spent looking at a few homes.
In a really bad area. You know, there was not only devastation, but I mean, I don't even know if we're going to get out at this point.
And I'm thinking I might as well just like drive them to the airport and put them on the Miami Dolphins plane.
You know, I've never really commented a lot about this before, but you know, the Drew Brees, you know, scenario really soured me a little bit because, you know, we really wanted to get him. We had him. circumstances.
Like the physical, right?
Physical didn't allow us to have him on our team, and then he went and had tremendous success.
New Orleans believed in him. And you got that feeling, like when we were here, and I think even Sean said to Drew at one point is, listen, you need us just as much as we need you.
That was the season where the group of castaways had been signed by Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton to come to hurricane-ravaged New Orleans and put together a team and see if we could go out and compete and win some games.
We'll see. You can always talk about how much talent you got on your team, but until that first snap on Sunday, when the real bullets start flying, we really start playing football teams across the league, you can't really tell.
This year, so much hopelessness inside this arena. It's been replaced by the sounds of hope and rebirth.
This was a group of trumpeters blowing that New Orleans is coming back.
A joyous night in New Orleans. Let the party begin.
He's with a lot of time. Going to throw it deep downfield. He's got Colston. He's got the ball. It's a touchdown.
And I tell you what, Drew Brees couldn't have thrown that ball any better.
Here's Brees looking, throwing over the middle, and it's caught by Horn.
Brees played like a pissed-off Tom Brady in 2006, showing every team who ignored him on the market what they were missing. Leading the league in passing and getting the Saints to their first NFC Championship game.
What an historic day for the New Orleans Saints and the city of New Orleans.
The Monsters of the Midway and America's sweetheart Cinderella Saints, the championship of the National Football Conference.
The Bears have said they've been disrespected. 4 out of the 6 writers this morning in the Chicago Sun-Times picked the Saints to win it.
The Bears knew what was coming, but they still couldn't stop it.
There's the Marcus Colston that we have come to know and love. Here's Brees dropping, throwing, caught by Colston, touchdown! So very much a confidence-building drive for the Saints.
The Saints showed a lot of moxie right there.
Like when you're running that middle seam against 2 Mike, and Urlacher's running deep. If you feel like you can run by him, keep running, and I'll either put up over the top or back shoulder you. If he is so deep, then just boom, look it up right there.
And only one team would rise to the occasion.
Has to make him throw the ball incomplete. Now what? They're talking it over. Throwing from his own end zone, about to get sacked. The marker comes out. Safety.
And Drew Brees, who has made so many wonderful decisions this season, makes a poor one here in throwing the football away with no one in the area while still in the pocket.
39-14. Hey, Soldier Field about to explode. The fans on their feet. Hey, goodbye, New Orleans.
What a beautiful setting on this 66-degree mid-October evening. Seattle, home of the Seahawks, and Quest Field is filling up for Sunday Night Football. With a record of 3 wins and 2 losses, the Seattle Seahawks making their entrance out onto the playing surface at Quest Field in Seattle, ready to take on Drew Brees and his New Orleans Saints on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels along with John Madden, Andrea Kramer, welcome to Seattle. The Seahawks are trying to win the NFC West for a 4th consecutive season, go to the playoffs for a 5th consecutive year. They started out 3-1 and then turned in a dreadful performance last week. Shut out by Pittsburgh 21-0. Only the 2nd time that a Mike Holmgren team in his 16 years as a head coach has been shut out. The Saints, meanwhile, the feel-good story for 2006, but nobody's feeling very good in New Orleans right now. They're 0-4. Drew Brees has 1 touchdown pass and 9 interceptions. The team has 1 sack in 4 games, and they've lost Deuce McAllister for the season to knee surgery. John, we all thought before the season the Saints were a good team, not a one-year wonder. So what in the world is going on in New Orleans now?
I think it all started in that first game, that Thursday night game that we had against the Colts. And you look at the first half, it was 10-10, and they kind of looked like the Saints of last year. And then the Colts got some big plays on them. and they started to play that soft zone. Then they frustrated Drew Brees. Then he started to force the ball, and that's the way everyone's been playing him ever since.
Hello, buddy. How you doing? I'm Drew. Nice to meet you.
Devin is still a shy 5-year-old, holding his dad's and his big brother Daniel's hands as Drew Brees takes him through the locker room.
Brees can't find anybody to his left, throws deep downfield for Patton, touchdown!
He's going to air it out, Meacham, downfield, hits him in stride.
Brees back to pass. Deep ball, left corner of the end zone. Caught! Touchdown to Lance Moore!
Jim Nance and Phil Simms exclusively for CBSSports.com, presented by Lexus, this NFL recap. It was a thriller here at Wembley Stadium in London, with the Saints prevailing in the end 37-32. Both quarterbacks played exceptionally well. Tomlinson played well, and it came down to the end, even a Hail Mary attempt for the victory for the Chargers, but it was knocked down incomplete. Saints hold on to win it.
Yeah, the offenses were spectacular. That's the best word for them. And how about Drew Brees playing against his old team? He played so well for years with the San Diego Chargers, Jim, and when you let go, you know, just imagine how much it meant to him to play so well and really be the big reason why they won.
What I want, Drew, pay attention.
Z-bang, X shallow cross.
Z-bang, X shallow cross, one.
Brees out of the gun.
Looking over the middle, he's got a man there, caught, touchdown to Devery Henderson.
Brees scrambling up in the pocket, throwing downfield. Colston takes it in stride. 20, 10, 5, touchdown.
Here we go. Let's go capitalize right here.
Dancing around, going long.
He's got Meacham. Meacham at the goal line. Robert Meacham, touchdown.
Let's go win this thing.
Brees throws over the middle and caught. Touchdown, Marcus Colston. That was a frozen rope by Drew Brees.
Play action. Brees throwing back of the end zone. Leaping grab. Touchdown, Lance Moore.
Yards away. Can this NFL quarterback sling it as precisely as a world-class archer? Drew, it's time to take aim. Has already hit an amazing 6 out of 6 bullseyes, which means if he doesn't hit another one, he's still more accurate than an Olympic archer. Drew's hit 9 out of 9. Olympic archers, they hit the dead center only once out of every 10 arrows.
I kind of have high expectations. I mean, I always want it to be right in here on a guy.
It was back against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Week 16, when Garrett Hartley missed with 5 seconds left, a 37-yard try. That's when Tom Benson, the owner, thought it was good and that they had won. They eventually lost in overtime, 20-17. That was one of Garrett Hartley's 2 misses. He was just 9 of 11 during the regular season. 1 for 1 this postseason. If you combine his career, regular and postseason, he's 23 of 25. Hartley sends the Saints to the Super Bowl.
All season long, we smelled great. Let's go. Tonight, it's time to finish strong and hold up this trophy for this group, for our city.
So the Saints will kick it away, beginning the second half.
Here's the kickoff, and it's an onside kick, and the Colts had it, lost it, and the Saints, I think, have it.
White ball! White ball!
There's the first indication.
Really unbelievable decision by Sean Payton.
Hell yeah!
Saints recover the onside kick.
Hey, see ya! We got it. See ya.
Saints ball. Saints ball.
Brees sets up the screen. Pierre Thomas makes the move. He's going to score. Pierre Thomas puts the Saints in the end zone. And Brees spreading that ball all over the field. 8 different receivers.
He is in a groove right now.
Here's the throw to Shockey, and it's a touchdown. The miracle in Miami has happened. The Saints have won the Super Bowl.
I love it. 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 We won the Super Bowl. You won a Super Bowl. So did you. It's unbelievable, huh? Take in the moment, right?
Looking out at the fans and just seeing the tears in everybody's eyes, you recognize immediately how much that meant to so many people. And
you're good friends with the Mannings, though, right? Peyton's dad, Archie, was a quarterback for the Saints.
Yes.
Lives
legendary.
not too far from you.
Yes. He, you know, as soon as when Brittany and I first moved to town, it was, you know, hey Archie, where's the best place to get a haircut? You know, or what's a nice restaurant to take Brittany to? Or, you know, I really leaned on him for a lot of things. What's funny is, you know, Archie will send me texts a lot just before games, you know, wishing me luck and that kind of thing. And there was one time where we were about to play Eli, and he shot me a text that said, "You're on your own this week, buddy." You know, just joking around. And you know, he even sent me a text a few days ago, you know, prior to the game, obviously, and said, if you were playing anybody else, I'd be all over this, you know, who dat, you know, extravaganza, festivities, everything else. He said, unfortunately, you have to be playing the Colts. So just, you know, I know that his, obviously, heart is, you know, with the Saints, having played here so many years, but, you know, blood's thicker than water, so.
For more around the league, we say a good morning to NFL insider Adam Schefter. And Adam, the Times-Picayune in New Orleans is reporting Drew Brees' agent Tom Condon is in New Orleans to meet with the Saints about Brees' contract. What more can you tell us about this situation?
Kevin, the two sides had a lot of work to get done to get to a new deal because they were way apart. You're talking about a situation where the Saints were arguing that Drew Brees is entitled to the Michael Vick contract, which is about $16 million a year on average. And Tom Condon, Drew Brees' representative, was arguing that he was entitled to about $23 million a year, which is the first 3 years of the Peyton Manning deal, being that Drew Brees beat Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. There is a world of difference between what the two sides are arguing, a lot of difference to make up, and that's why Tom Condon flew to New Orleans to see if they could get on the same page, to make this an issue, to see if the two sides could figure out a way if at some point this season they could get it worked out. But the bottom line is the Saints are not going to let Drew Brees go anywhere. They've got their franchise tag. Eventually, the deal will get done. It's just not getting done as quickly as both sides would like.
Here in this drop.
And I think at the end of the day, Mike Smith understands, given the record that's at stake.
It's up to you to stop it. It's the pros, right?
Yes.
And Drew Brees told us he would like to break the record on Monday Night Football, so it does mean something to him to do it tonight.
Split backs, needing 7 yards. Brees throws, end zone, touchdown, and there's the record.
That's unbelievable.
Drew Brees in rare air. The all-time single-season NFL passing record.
By the name of Dan Marino was drafted in 1983. And he might be one of the top 5 that ever played this game. This guy won a lot of games. He never won the Super Bowl, but the year he set this record was 1984. But it's important for us to understand the history of this league. And he was a badass player now. All right? But another badass player broke his record tonight. Yeah!
To think that we had this opportunity is pretty amazing. You know, we came close to this a few years ago, and to be perfectly honest with you, I thought, man, no way we'll ever get that close again. But I guess I underestimated the opportunity that we would have because of the guys in this room. And I say that with all sincerity and as genuine as I can, because I truly feel that way. That there may be only one name that goes in the record book, but it's all about you guys. I'm not just talking about players. I'm talking about coaches that bust their ass, staying late nights away from their families, putting together game plans that allow us to go out there and succeed and play well, get our name in the paper. To everybody in the building, our staff, Mr. Benson, Mrs. Benson, Rita, the equipment managers that rub down those balls. Y'all know what I mean. I can't tell you just how much I love you guys, and I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anybody else. You make me so proud, and I know that this is just another stepping stone to our ultimate goal. This is something we can look back on, we can talk about. But what I want is for us to look back and a guy on defense to say, yeah, I was on that team, I was a part of that. I made plays that year that helped that guy have that opportunity. I was an offensive lineman that blocked for that guy. I was a receiver who caught balls. I was a running back who caught balls, ran, set up opportunities. I was a coach on that team. I want everybody to be proud of this because it's all about you. It's not about one person. And that's the journey we're on. And it's going to be about us as we continue on, as we win next week and we continue to win and we continue this journey because it's all about the prize at the end. So I'm just happy to be on it with you, man. Love you.
Do what we got to do today, baby. Our best. Here we go. Walk up in the dome. Beat everybody. Who? Big plays all day. Beat everybody. Send them all home. Beat everybody. Who?
2011 has been a record-setting season in New Orleans. Together, quarterback Drew Brees and head coach Sean Payton have made big plays look easy.
What? What? It's time to show who?
Here we go, Drew. Let's go, man. Let's go. Sharp and quick.
Ivory's free inside the 25. He's to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Chris Ivory. Looks far sideline, one-handed catch is made by Graham. Graham with the defender, Jordan Senn, draped all over him.
The guy's coming, he's got his back turned. I just want you to run like this and then be ready for one of these, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I threw it.
Yeah, I caught it. But I could have done that.
Did you have to go Sports Center on me, though?
Here's a throw into the end zone. Graham touchdown. Beautifully thrown ball.
Well, you're a pretty, hyped up, jacked up kind of dude.
Yeah.
playoff atmosphere is pretty special, man.
Good luck in the playoffs.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Good luck in the playoffs, dog.
Here come the San Francisco 49ers as they get set to host this divisional playoff matchup with the New Orleans Saints.
Downs for the Saints from the 25 with an empty backfield. Brees steps up and he fires and is picked off. The second New Orleans turnover to Sean Goldson. Goldson inside the 10, still on his feet. Split out to the right. Brees on second down to the end zone for Jimmy Graham. Saints must get to the 22 for a first down as Brees fires downfield. And Marcus Colston makes a spectacular catch for a Saints touchdown. Play clock at 2, second and 10 from the 44. Sproles makes the catch. First down and more. Inside the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Darren Sproles. Smith on third down. He will take it himself for a first down and more. Alex Smith is in. Touchdown. From their own 34-yard line, empty backfield. Brees throws. Jimmy Graham makes the catch inside the 30. And Graham is inside the 10. And he takes it all the way for a Saints go-ahead touchdown. 66 yards from Brees to Graham. Smith on second down. He throws and it's caught by Vernon Davis. And Davis is inside the 30. And the 49ers are in field goal range with 31 seconds remaining. 47 yards. Smith on third and 3. He throws to the end zone, and the catch is made by Vernon Davis for a Niners touchdown. 4 lead changes in the last 3 minutes, 53 seconds. 49ers advance to the NFC Championship game.
Drew Brees and the Saints have a deal. They beat Monday's 4 p.m. deadline, Chris. What more can you tell us about this incredible deal?
Well, you gave the details, and listen, the two sides obviously were within striking distance of getting this deal done. And it was just a matter of really clearing some hurdles to the point where now Drew Brees has an unprecedented contract. There's never been an NFL player to average $20 million a year. There's never been an NFL player to get $40 million guaranteed in year 1, $55 million after year 2, and $60 million in the first 3 years. And you would have to say that they were close enough to close the gap, and that's what happened. According to my sources, Mickey Loomis, the general manager of the Saints, and Tom Condon, the agent for Drew Brees, worked very hard the last 24 hours, and finally Brees basically signed off on it. Even though it's a verbal agreement, Drew still has to take a physical and sign a contract, I believe, for this to be finalized. But it is the biggest contract in terms of the average per year, $20 million, the amount of money that he'll be getting the first year, 2 years, 3 years, and you would have to guess that Aaron Rodgers is happy too, because he'll probably be getting a new deal in another year or two himself.
Saints are 0-2 after they lost to the Panthers since 1990. 12%, that's all, of teams that start 0-2 actually reach the playoffs. Are they done?
I believe it's going to be difficult because Sean Payton isn't there. And over the last 3 years, I would categorically say this, and most people would agree, the best designer of offense in the NFL has been Sean Payton. He's not there. You can see the problems with the Saints' offense.
Well, this is unfamiliar territory for you and Sean Payton. You haven't been 4-6 since 2007. There are some doubters about the Saints right now. Can you guys rally around that a little bit?
Well, I mean, we're not rallying around the doubters. I mean, the fact of the matter is we really believe in ourselves. And I know that we're in an unfortunate situation, and we've had really a couple tough stretches this season.
Our top NFL performance this week comes from Drew Brees, who tied the single-game record by throwing 7 touchdowns. All told, on passing touchdowns alone, Drew Brees amassed 165 yards. Incredibly, that's more than double the amount of yards Aaron Rodgers threw on Sunday for the entire game. Drew Brees actually threw for more touchdowns on Sunday than the Vikings, Cowboys, and 49ers have thrown all season. For ESPN Sports Science, I'm John Brinkus.
Peyton breaks. He's rare. Hold on to it. Brees connects to Cadet. Turns it into a big gain. And Travaris Cadet is out of it. Brees with 6 completions on this drive. Being rushed. Hit as he threw. And what a grab, but out of bounds.
And so he's going to force him wide. And that is, whoa, that's close, man. That is really close. Watch Watson's. You have to get 2 feet down. There's 1 and the knee. Ew, boy, that's close.
To review, the ruling on the field has changed. The runner completed the catch, got his left knee down in bounds. It is a touchdown.
Regain the lead. And going back to Ostrop. Brees, open man. Willie Snead.
And because of the non-threat, he collapses inside really quickly, right there. Anticipates it. Nobody on the outside to hold him, and so he jumps the inside, and it's a big pick. I mean, that's a monster. Play of the game.
For the win. Saints win it. The Saints win it 20-17. They end the season with 2 wins and a 7-9 record.
Standard is what? It's 10 catches. This is a brand new Guinness World Records title. If they said it today, history will be made.
We're making history today on NFL Live. Okay, Odell, you go down there. Adjudicator, you go down there. Referee, you go down there. Drew, we're coming up here. All right. You know what this segment needs? People with selfie sticks. That's what we need. All right, so on the whistle, you will begin, and all we need is 10 within a minute. Adjudicator, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Referee or footlocker person, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, on the whistle, here we go. Where's the whistle? There it is.
That's
1, 2, 3,
4, 5.
I think we're setting a record.
6, 30.
I like our chances.
31. 32. 33.
Hey, 33! Yeah, we're good. Yeah, making history. How about that? Well done.
That was strong.
So ran quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees. Drew, we're dear, dear friends, and you've been over to my house, yet I've never been to yours. Peyton and Eli and even my dad say it's really nice.
Well, speaking of them, I thought they were going to be here. I thought that was part of this deal.
Who is your best friend on the team?
I'd say probably Luke McCown.
It's funny you mentioned that because I talked to Luke and he told me you were like 9th of his best friends, and that's just on offense. Now time for a completely original segment here on the Cooper Manning Hour. Drew reads some fan tweets. Drew.
Neighbors are complaining about your lawn. Can you please hire some gardeners? From @Bro of Peyton and Eli.
Is that a verified account? You go into a place, they're having karaoke. What is the first song you go to?
Probably Michael Jackson. Dum, 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 dum. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. I don't know what to beat it, beat. You know, something like that.
Comes in. Brees throws, end zone. Did Michael Thomas hold on? Yes, touchdown.
The man you've been waiting for and waiting for. It's not Rupert Pupkin. It's Drew Brees.
I was wondering what the first question was going to be when I walked in here.
Can you afford it?
What do I owe you $20 for?
Just because. I mean, I found out you got a new payday, so I heard you owe me $20.
All right, I'll buy you some Jimmy John's or something.
Excitement to get the deal out of the way in the time frame you wanted and kind of move forward.
Yeah. And listen, first of all, I'm humbled and honored and have been from the day that I first stepped foot in here as a New Orleans Saint.
Come on. What are we seeing here? Big play after big play in this.
Brees looking for the long ball. And this time
under intense pressure from Wheeler, number 41 on the left side of your screen. Somehow he gets
7 passes. One up top again. In fact, he's going long for Cooks, who makes the catch.
a bullet right down the middle.
But when Drew Brees gets it going, it is tough to stop.
Brees over the top. Brees for a 4th touchdown pass today. And Michael
Brees
Thomas
again led the league in passing yards in 2016 for an NFL record 7th time. To go along with his NFL record 471 completions, earning him respect from an NFL record. He now owns 3 of the top 4 highest completion percentage seasons of all time.
Drew kind of lays that ball where it's not going to get a big hit. That ball is perfect, right on the money.
He make accurate throws.
Beautifully thrown football that Thomas takes in on the far sideline.
He's seen every look for disguises.
Here's Brees throwing, and he's got a receiver wide open. Brandon Coleman, 5 yards deep in the end zone. He turns around, and the football's right there.
NFC wildcard game. Brees and the Saints faced another division rival, the Carolina Panthers, a team they had beaten twice before. Brees threw for 376 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Saints won 31-26.
Here's Brees stepping up, delivering down the middle. Ted Ginn in his hands, and Ted Ginn will go all the way. As the Saints have struck again through the air. As hard as it might be to beat a team 3 times in a season, the Saints have done it over against their NFC South rivals, the Carolina Panthers.
In the next round at Minnesota, the Saints faced a 17-0 second-half deficit.
Michael Thomas, touchdown. Play action, throw over the middle, easy touchdown. Michael Thomas in the end zone.
They used their speed against him. Drew was able to check it, fake it, and he's got a perfect window. Outstanding play design for it, and Drew is perfect on that throw, and this game gets a little bit more interesting.
Everything misdirection. You know, it's like ball out, run, this way quick. That way, they're taking us out of it now.
Here's Brees, dropping, looking, throwing into the end zone. Alvin Kamara.
Got him.
Touchdown, Saints.
That's the inside fade. That was the fade route. That's the one that they needed. Wow. Perfect placement.
The Saints led by 1 and were 1 play away from advancing to the NFC Championship.
Keenan dropping, looking, throwing near sideline, and it's caught by Stephon Diggs, who's going to take it inside the 15, 10, 5, touchdown on the final play of this game. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it'll sting for a bit, especially as this season goes on here over the next few weeks, you know, feeling like, you know, that could be us. Maybe that should be us, and yet I've been around long enough to know that, you know, unfortunately, sometimes these things happen, you know, and you guys were there in 2011 at San Francisco. That was one we felt like we should have had, right? And we've been on the winning side of some crazy ones, you know. But obviously with everything at stake, with the fact it's playoffs, it's win or go home, the way we battled back, you know, this would have been one for the ages had we been able to pull it off.
Drew Brees, the ball up there, he's 39 years old, and you look at those numbers from last year, over 4,300 yards, 23 touchdowns. I mean, he is old, but not playing like he's old. Correct? I mean, overall, you knew this was going to happen. We all knew this was going to happen in New Orleans.
Well, Drew,
but the future, long-term future is what?
Well, Drew Brees mandated that it would happen, and I think that this deal gives the Saints another year in which to find another quarterback that they believe that they can grow. Now, keep in mind, the backup quarterback in New Orleans is a player by the name of Taysom Hill that they claimed off waivers from the Green Bay Packers. And the Saints love Taysom Hill.
Now in his 18th NFL season, Drew Brees' determination to win remains.
Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby! 1, 2, 3,
But the future Hall of Famer's passion isn't just for the New Orleans Saints.
You guys ready to have some fun?
Yeah!
What do we always say? Do your best, have fun, never quit. That's right, all right? This is what I always tell them. Do your best, have fun, never quit. Do your best, have fun, never quit. If you have that mindset, you're gonna have a great day. What we're trying to create here is the premier flag football league in this country. I think what we found is that a lot of people are playing flag football, but everybody's playing by different rules. Some are 5-on-5, some are 6-on-6, some are 7-on-7. Basically what we've done is we've tried to create a structure by which kids can learn football in the best way possible, and then if they ever choose to transition to the game of tackle football at some point, this league will help provide that.
My name is Gowan, I'm 5. My name is Bowen and I'm 7. My name is Balin and I'm 9.
And who's your favorite football player?
Who's your favorite player?
Tim Tebow.
The Saints have won the Super Bowl.
So Balin is now 9 years old. He was 1 when I lifted him up. Here's Balin. Lifted him up after we won Super Bowl 44. Crazy to think that that was 8 years ago. I guess that just means we have to win more Super Bowls so the rest of them get that opportunity too.
31, that is Drew Brees' 13th completion of the game.
Making big things happen for the Saints.
Jonathan Williamson at running back. Brees throws to Michael Thomas, and there is the record breaker. Thomas continues to go up to the 45-yard line. Drew Brees, now the all-time NFL leader in completions to the line.
Brees, end zone, he hit it, 500 career touchdown passes. The NFL's all-time passing yardage leader moves into elite company even further.
Those 4 kiddos, though, being able to get down on that field, what they're going to experience, incredible.
Brees, wide open, and Smith, what a way to do it!
All-time mark. And it's only fitting. He stands in that pocket, fakes him off on the outside, gets the corner, Josh Norman, to come up, and drops it right in there on the sidelines. And it's for a touchdown. That's only fitting, guys. You see it again as he throws it. So congratulations, Drew. You know, Joe, he's a great player, but he has done it the way it's supposed to be done the entire time in the NFL. Drew Brees, I know I speak on behalf of all the kids out there in the country. I got 4 of them that are watching. Thank you for the role model that you are.
Peyton, FYI, Drew Brees just broke your record.
Which one?
All-time passing yards.
Passing yards? Okay. So I still have the touchdown record, right?
He's actually on pace to break that too.
What? Great. Drew, for 1,000 days, I've held the record for all-time passing yards in the NFL. And I gotta tell you, it's been the greatest 1,000 days of my life. And thanks to you, that's over now, and you've ruined that for me. So thank you very much. I have nothing left to look forward to except slicing my tomatoes, making dinner for my family, putting together this wedge salad. Also, let this serve as the congratulations for the touchdown record, because as you can see, I'm very busy. I don't have time to keep doing these videos for you, congratulating you. But in all seriousness, Drew, congratulations on this record. You've done it the right way. All your hard work and dedication have paid off. You and I have come a long way since this picture back in 2000 when you were in college and I was in my 3rd year in the NFL. So way to go, proud of you. Good luck the rest of the way.
You have belief. Belief that every time you step on this field, you have a chance to win. We have the belief. Now let's go win.
The top 2 seeds and the top 2 scoring teams in the NFC collide.
He gets rid of it on time to the flat, but off the mark, incomplete.
Damn it! Completions, man. Get him a ball he can catch.
And it's 4th down for the Saints. They need 2.
Listen to me now. Nobody's moving, but we'll tag off on him. 5-8. Blue 80. Push on. Yes. And they got movement on the line. The Saints get the movement they're looking for.
The neutral zone infraction on Brockers. A hard count for Brees and the Rams jumps. They give away that 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal. He throws end zone, and 1 yard deep, it's caught for the touchdown.
Attaboy, Griff. Attaboy, Griff.
The Rams have a hole to dig out of. They the Superdome in New Orleans.
2:14 on the game clock. 2nd down and 12. Blue 80. What's up? Steps to his right. He's going to throw a long one. Has a man. Jump ball. Caught. Tetkin Jr. Caught all the way down to the 13-yard line. We're at the 2-minute warning. Tetkin, 43 yards. We got to be smart here.
Yeah. But I don't want to take 55 seconds and just kick a field goal. So we're going to be smart, but we're going to try to score a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about, brother. All the time. 3rd down and 10. Brees from the gun. Takes the snap. Throws to the near side. Hit early. Where's the flag? Early hit on timely shot. Payne is all the way down at the 10. Unbelievable no call.
That could have and maybe should have been pass interference, and if so, it's effectively game over.
Saints win the coin toss. Saints will start with the ball. All right, boys, here we go now. Everybody's ready. Let's try.
Brees retreats to throw. Arm is hit, ball is in the air. Middle of the field, it is intercepted! Dante Fowler Jr. got into throwing arm of Drew Brees. So a 57-yard field goal attempt. And if Zerline hits this field goal, the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. The hold is down, the kick clears the line. And Greg Zerline sends the Rams to the Super Bowl.
It's an absolutely devastating ending for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to swallow, right? You know, I mean, I think plenty of times throughout the season, you know, there's calls that go against you or go for you, or they miss or they didn't. But obviously in a situation like that, where it seemed like everybody in the world saw it, it's tough.
We have right here to my left a man who has the most, let me get this right, career passing yards, career pass completions, career completion percentage. No other individual has had more 300-yard passing game, 400-yard passing games, touchdown passes in a game, consecutive games with a touchdown pass, 5,000-yard passing seasons. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'd like to talk to the man. Put your hands together for Drew Brees. How's life?
It's going good. It's going good.
You know, I mean, I guess we could just get straight into it here. Do you feel, Drew Brees, that your team deserved to be here this week?
Well, listen, we'll go ahead and talk about the call. I've tried to live my life worrying about the things I can control, right?
Yes.
And then trying not to worry about the things I don't control. And unfortunately, within the game of football, listen, it's an imperfect game played by imperfect people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so there's throughout the course of a game, and there's mistakes made all over the place, right?
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that a game that meaningful, that significant, at that point in the game, could have had a different outcome had it been for, you know, one call, right? One official's call. But again, that's not something that we control. I think about the things that happened before that and after that maybe were within our control, that might have allowed us to have a different outcome and be playing here in the Super Bowl. But as I've had time to, you know, get some closure and then reflect on, I think, our season, man, there was so much to be proud of. And I had so much fun playing football this year with my team. I'm really excited about the future that we have with a lot of our young players. And it certainly rejuvenated me and really made football a lot of fun.
Brees makes me feel fine, growing from the apple of my eye. Oh my God, he is a delight. Did you?
Just a great leader. He's a great quarterback. We're mighty lucky to have him in New Orleans.